Hello and welcome back to day 15 of the Greatness Within Journey. 31 days to reconnect with yourself and start confidently creating a life worthy of you. Today we are kind of ending step two of courageously discovering your light. This is the seeker persona, the seeker stage of the evolution of unleashing the greatness within you. And in this instance, this is about values. It's what I like to call non-negotiable in your life. It's what makes you different. It's what gives flavor to what you do. A lot of times we can all use or have the same skills. We can have similar purpose statements. We can have similar talents, but it is in our values that kind of makes a distinction of things. The value seems to dictate how we use our strengths and how we get to our ideal state or vision. So this is going to be all about discovering your values. There's not really much I have to say. One of the things to pay attention to is that you don't have to value the same things society values. Everybody says family first, and while that could be true for most people, is not true for everybody. And this is not to say that the person that doesn't value family first doesn't value family. It just we're talking about the things that are non-negotiable to you, and it's possible that family is like a close second or maybe a fifth, like it is for me. It doesn't mean that it's not important. It's just there are other things before family that I value more. Something like wisdom or courage or honesty. And those are things that I value more than family. But it's not like a huge distinction, it's just a distinction. So it's something for you to consider that you don't have to value the same things society values. The other thing is, there is no right or wrong answer. They're just people value different things, and that's all fine. It doesn't have to be the same thing. So take away the need to be right or wrong with this exercise. And then keep in mind also that some of your values could move. It's not going to be a big change, but some of the values can move as you kind of evolve or mature through life. Certain things start taking different places. So it's not like they're unmovable. So just keep those in mind as you go through the exercise. Just understand this is the exercise for now, and it may change 5 years in the future. It may change 10 years in the future. It may change 1 month later. It doesn't really matter. What you are looking for is what is non-negotiable. What are the things that you want to have in your life in regards to this character ideas of values. So there are two exercises that I have in the book. I share the exercise of the I beam, which is one I heard from Stephen Covey. And the concept of the I beam was to think of yourself in the Grand Canyon, and there's a I beam, one of those construction beams, in the middle of it, and you have to cross it. So the question was something around how much would you cross the beam for $50,000? You're crossing the Grand Canyon is probably maybe, let's say, a mile long or half a mile long, and you're 20 30 feet 20 30 feet of the ground. Would you cross it for 50 grand or something like that? Maybe you could say no, maybe you say yes. It doesn't really matter. You just go, it goes through the exercise of making it as challenging as possible. So I think the last scenario of that was like, well, what if it's raining? It's kind of like freezing water on the beam. It's windy. It's just a mess. And then you go, uh, the person on the other side of the beam is like holding your family hostage, and it's like, hey, if you don't cross the beam, I'm gonna kill you, kill your family and you, or something like that, like something very extreme. So the question is for place yourself in a scenario where it's so extreme that it's kind of crazy that maybe no amount of money will um, be enough for you. So, what would drive you to cross over the beam? Just try to identify those sentences or situations or things that you will do it for. Like you just risk your life to have them. So that's one. It's a little bit more challenging, maybe because you need somebody to help you with the process of setting up this scenario. And then the second one is the discard method, which is where you have a values list. You have values set up in cards or something like that, and then you can just pass each card and then decide if that is a value for you or not. This is a table that I have in the book itself. You can see a table in the book where the values that I use to come up with this exercise, to come up with my 5 values. And what I've done is I'll put a list of the values or the table and a description of the exercise in greatnesswithinbook.com/values. And that way you can have it for you, or you can just find one on the internet. So I'll have the exercise and the description in greatnesswithinbook.com/values, and you can download, print, whatever you need to do. But the process of the discard method is that you'll have the list. What you're going to do is you instinctively create 2 piles. One pile that says, yes, I do value this thing, and the other one's a no. If it's a maybe, it's a no. It has to be a clear yes, or everything else is a no. So what you do is just you read the word, and in less than a second, you're just like yes, and it goes to that pile. And what you're going to keep doing is you just keep grabbing the yes pile and doing the splits until you come up with your top 5. And that's pretty much it. Very simple. But what you're trying to do is not overthink it. You just want to go with your gut. Whatever the instinctual reaction is, go with it. Because there is no right or wrong. All you're trying to do is become aware of the 5 things that you would say is non-negotiable in your life. And for me, those were wisdom, honesty, courage, simplicity, and family. So that is a group of 5 values that I have. There are others in the pile, and it doesn't matter which ones you have. What you're trying to do is identify what is your uniqueness and how you will apply and how do you engage with people. Because what I've noticed is that a lot of times when I'm angry, or where somebody bothers me or something bothers me, is related to one of those values not being in place. And something that just came to me is that just because you have different values as someone else, it doesn't mean that you'll never work together. It just means you value different things. And it can create some friction, or it can actually harmonize together. So the only reason you're doing this is for you to become aware, so that then you can identify why something may not be aligning with you as well as other things. And it could just be a person is doing all the right things, going through the right motions, but because they value something completely different, they're using it in a way that you find inappropriate. So you may just want to go with somebody else that may not be doing it perfectly, but is valuing the same thing. So that's it. Go through the exercise and let me know what your 5 values are. And don't worry about it. Don't overthink it. It doesn't have to be right or wrong. Just go through the exercise very quickly. You can Google all these values lists out there, or you can go to greatnesswithinbook.com/values and find the list that I used. And that'll be it. So thank you for watching.